So still speaking about this supposed threat by Donald Trump, there's a new update now from the president, Bola Tinubu. He said his government is engaging international allies and diplomatically responding after Donald Trump threatened possible military action against Nigeria over alleged persecution of Christians and insurgents, right? So also from the northern part, there was a proposal from the U.S. right-wing lawmakers for the ban of Sharia law in some parts of the country, some regions of the country. And some of the northerners have kicked against it. Now, how can Nigeria balance its sovereign right to handle internal security with international community's expectations around religious freedom and human rights?
So I think the president speaking yesterday after he swore in 2 ministers, and he said that Nigeria is engaging diplomatically with the US, and that Nigerians should not be afraid that this is one of these political headwind. When I saw that part, I was not very enthused, because why do we have to politicize this? Is this a political issue? At the bottom of it, like I said yesterday, yes, it is, because it started with that. But then at this point, it is loss of lives and property. Why are we looking at it from a political lens? Because clearly the president is feeling like this whole thing is orchestrated to maybe affect him in second term, destabilize his government and everything. But I don't think, seriously, any patriotic Nigerian, nobody's rooting for this president to fail. If the president fails, he affects everybody. The current failure of the government is the loss of lives, or the loss of lives we are seeing currently in Plateau, Adama, all these states that this whole crisis are happening. And that's why everybody is calling for the president to sit up. Now, for a crisis that's not America's, Donald Trump is making a statement from the Oval Office. What is stopping our president from coming in front of a camera to address Nigerians square and fairly, face to face, to say this is going on, we know that you are afraid, we know this, and these are the things we are doing. You've changed service chiefs, you've changed what are the mandates you give to them, put timelines to certain things. Somebody said yesterday, that the president is sympathetic, the president is this. If he wasn't swearing in the ministers, the new ministers yesterday, would he have addressed us? When America issued the first threat, it was a tweet that the president put out, a short statement for that matter. Why is it that we don't have presidents who are keen on talking to their citizens? You want to assure us that you are on top of the situation, but you can't talk to us, you can't tell us, look at us, what you can organize a press conference and have reputable journalists ask their questions. Let us hold certain people to account. Let us hold you to account. Let's see, okay, these are the parameters that you're working with. I remember when this president came on board, he said he gave his ministers their brief to say, okay, this is how we are judging you, this is how we are rating you, and if you don't meet up to this, we'll sack you, we'll do this. How many ministers has he sacked for underperformance? Does this not indict the NSA? Is the NSA doing his job? You've changed your service chiefs. Why is the NSA still there? Or what is what task have you committed to him to say, I need this crisis dealt with in 2-3 weeks, in 1 month? It was a good thing yesterday when I read that the chief of army staff was at, I think, Hadinkai yesterday in Maiduguri to talk to the troops, and what he told them that currently his priority is for their welfare and all this. Why are we still discussing? Why is a new service chief discussing military welfare? Is this not supposed to have been codified a long time ago? So these are some of the things you still see, and then you couple that with the president's silence. It makes you wonder if we are really serious about this, and I take it that I think yesterday the DSS also organized some sort of conference for traditional rulers on alternative dispute resolutions in the north. The conference held in Kaduna State to figure how they can do a whole lot of this. Heard that the DSS is also vetting traditional rulers to be sure that the right people are there, people who have yes, these are some of the initiatives that maybe people may not know about. But if we don't come out as the president and commander-in-chief of the armed forces to engage with Nigerians, many people may not know. And on the flip side, I'm happy to say that, maybe to hear him say that they are engaging diplomatically. But the rhetoric from the US doesn't seem like one that they either have people engaging with them or that they believe the people engaging with them, and that is still a problem. because anything that violates Nigeria's sovereignty is going to affect everybody. You know, and we need to see the government move beyond Twitter. We need to see them move beyond what's it called, statements from spokespersons, to see action on ground. We need to see heavy mobilization of the military. If you go to the southeast, there's no 100 or 200 meters that you walk that you will not see a checkpoint. You know, we need to see that same level of commitment and you know, zeal. Map some areas, maybe perform some surgical strikes. Let the bandits be on the run. Let's see them. Let's see action. That's what Nigerians will see. That's what the international community also want to see, to be sure that, okay, these people are really serious. They are taking this seriously. And for the northern elders and the issue with the Sharia law, Nigeria is a secular state. How
credible would they be banning the law? And talking about the challenges that would come from doing that, because you know it's a sensitive matter.
It is very sensitive. The challenge with that whole system was the fact that it didn't cater to the people it was supposed to cater to. You know, the Christians who are not supposed to be affected by it are being affected. Now the elites who are also stealing money from that same you know, religious persuasion are not being prosecuted for this. You just have regular people who are, you know, imprisoned for blasphemy, who are caught for stealing, pilfering and everything, and their hands are chopped and everything. If it was a law that, you know, is cuts across board, applies across board, I don't think people would be very, you know, for the people that it's designed for anyway, and that it is mindful of the fact that there are certain people who it does not cover, the jurisdiction. Right. And it's something that you can also see across Nigeria's full jurisprudence. You see that sometimes a court overreaches its jurisdiction. You see, so these are things, because right now sitting down to say they should repeal the law is a whole nother conversation altogether that may not work, and that is not what we are dealing with currently, you know. But it is one of the issues that probably has aggravated this. But the critical thing right now is to incapacitate these non-state actors. Like we all know, they are collecting taxes in certain areas. They are being paid dues for allowance for agricultural products into the south. So you need to incapacitate them. You need to remove their capacity to inflict violence. You need to either figure out a way to also equip the people to defend themselves. If it's a case where, like we all know, the armed forces of the country might be stretched thin, the police is stretched thin. We need to talk about recruitment. Somebody made a comment yesterday about how difficult it is to be recruited. The other time you were seeing I think how many quota you give to these states to bring for the army, quota to this. This is a country that is dealing with severe security issue, and you're doing quota in terms of recruitment. That's when the president was campaigning. He said he was going to recruit 50 million youths into the army. 50 million youths. We've not seen 2 million. We've not seen 3 million. And then what is the motivation? As a young Nigerian who's just leaving school, would you see what the servicemen are currently going through and say, you know what, I want to serve my country? Nigeria has not successfully built a sense of patriotism in its people. Every day we come to talk about this issue, we're always divided along religious lines, we're always divided along ethnic lines. Nobody is talking about the full, you know, interest of the country, and it always starts from our leaders. For the president to be talking about political headwind, it means that he's also looking at it from a sectarian view. You know, and the people in the north also need to know that you're the president of the country. The people in the south only, and because we've always had presidencies that are catering to different, or are perceived to be catering to different national, sub-national interests. Oh, Jonathan is the president, oh, is going to be people from the south will enjoy, and then it's populated by people from the south. You have this person from the north, it's populated by people from the north. So each part that's not producing feels alienated. And this is what this president should start addressing, from appointment to execution of policies. If a policy is designed for the north, make sure it caters to the north. He understands the terrain of the north. He understands the mindset, the psychology of the north. You don't apply the same thing you did in the south to the north. If you're doing a policy for the south, you don't take maybe the same situation in the north to apply there. Peculiarities must apply, but we need to start thinking as Nigerians, and it starts from the president and the governors too. So
one listener might actually argue, doesn't that actually evade the concept of oneness? You know, trying to do policies, create policies that apply to different regions in Nigeria.
Look, when you talk of oneness, it doesn't mean that we are not unique. You understand? And Nigeria has a checkered history already. So you therefore have to consider peculiarities of certain people, their cultural, idiosyncrasies, the way they have lived their lives, And then when you want to introduce change, for instance, the issue of ranching is a critical issue that the government needs to engage the herdsmen on.
Yeah.
But we are not seeing that kind of engagement. Neither are we seeing that kind of investment. To say, okay, we don't need your cattle roaming, because let's not forget, this is also part of the issue. The issue in the southeast started with the killings of people in their farmlands after cattle rearers go there and vandalize it. So why don't you engage with them to say, okay, we want this, what are the incentives you need? Because everybody is profit minded. It might not be financial, but it might be in a different light. So you engage with them on that, please. Begin to develop parts of the north that can take care of this. Before you know, I'm not saying it's as easy as this, but people are going to see your commitment to it. Instead of ignoring this thing and saying it will sort itself out, which I think is what goes on at that level of, okay, they will sort it out, let's just talk about it, without the concurrent financial backing, without the concurrent policy. And sometimes you are forcing the other set of people to now accommodate a group of people that they consider to not be in their interest. So yes, we want that sense of patriotism, but you cannot say an agrarian community should behave like an urban community like Lagos. The peculiarities are different. The problems you face in Lagos are not the same problems you're going to face, say, in Yobe State or in Umuahia or in Ebonyi State, including how you develop the cities. If it's a livestock community, there are different things it needs, but the people need to be sure and see that you as the government, that you are actually interested in what goes on there. And then the issue of security, it's not the same problem across board. So the kind of intelligence that you need is in the east, in the southwest, is different from what you need in the north.
Yeah.
So we need to develop people, because currently we're fighting a different kind of warfare. The battle or the battleground has changed into the forest, into the bushes, into the so we need to bring in technology. Where are we on this technology issue? We've bought technologies, we've had bilateral agreements with China, with America, with all these people. As we speak to you now, there are allegations that Chinese miners are in some of these communities. How many of these crises are fueled by these miners? Go to Zamfara, go to some of these states, they have gold mining is going on. That the other day, I think it was Senator Shomole that came on national TV to say, why is this money not factored into our national kick? Why is it not factored into the national policy? So it means that rare earth minerals are leaving this country on a daily basis, and the government is not even interested. And in many of these communities, it starts with a sort of communal clash. Somebody, a mercenary group moves in, and these are not conversations we're even having.
Thank you very much, Joshua Moses, for your in-depth analysis.